Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices, and starting with the S&P here on the weekly chart here. So in a bit of a nutshell, just looking at the bigger picture here, we've got wave 4 here, and we're working up into wave 5 up here, and in that we're looking for 5 waves of intermediate degree of 1 and 2 here, 5 waves in the third wave. So we're in the fourth wave here. Fourth waves can get complicated, and the complication in this particular structure is that the count that I've got here could certainly be correct, but we're still teasing out the possibility of a wave B being over here. Now it does look bullish, and you know, we can play into that, but we just need to be careful, and we need to be strategies, and it's good to always be looking at the other side and working out both sides of the coin, so to speak. So with this here, you would think that once the top had been taken out through here, then we'd be on our way through there, but that's not the case either, because wave 4s can have an expanded flat. An expanded flat is when the market moves up and then has its correction down in 3 waves, and then it can have 3 waves to the upside in B, taking out the top, and then 5 waves moving down here, such like that, and then moving up. So it's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here as an expanded flat, and then moving up. So we do need to be careful, and you know, the other thing too is that we are approaching the top here, close to the top here, so there's obviously going to be resistance there as well. Yeah, we just need to continue looking at both counts until this particular structure is done. So just on the daily chart here for that bearish count, this is how this plays out in that it's not even an expanded flat just yet. It's still just a normal B wave because it hasn't taken out the top here, but it has taken out the top in the NASDAQ, and some of the Asian markets are looking quite bullish as well, the Nifty for example. So we still need to, whichever, we've got the bullish count, which we'll look at in a moment, but for the bullish count and this particular bearish count here, then we still need to track this 5-wave structure coming in through here. So let's do that. But just before we do that, we'll look at the bullish count. So the bullish count too can be, it just depends on where we place things. So for this here, we can have wave 3 here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. But we could also have a D and an E here as well for wave 4 to be over here. I don't think it's the case. I think this is a better shot here, but the only problem with this is wave 4 here overlaps wave 1. So there is a problem with this particular count, but in this count we've got wave 4 here, wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then moving up for blue wave 1 here, and then coming back for blue wave 2 here. So that's possible. It's also possible to have, you know, if I counted it as from this wave 4 being over here as a triangle pattern, then we would need to look at wave 1 being up here. So it doesn't really matter that much here. What we're interested in, as always, is you know, the Elliott wave is you know, it's sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's useful and sometimes it's not. So we need to understand when it is useful and when it's not useful, and how to narrow all that down into, you know, taking a trade. So in those instances, in bringing it down, the support and the resistance that we could develop from the understanding of the trading levels really is critical to getting a better ratio on winning trades. So that's really what we do, and we know that number 8 is an important number. You know, having a nice support here, and this is a classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then the correction. Then we take, you know, we put that high in there first, we take that one, but we can always get a better one, and maybe we can even get a better one still down here. And that's the way we do it. So that's the way I do it, and you know, it's simple, and it doesn't really matter if you know the wave count or not. You know, if you know the basic pattern of a market migrating from being resistance to support, then we know where we are. In here at the moment, we're looking at wave 4 here. It was possible for us to have wave 5 sitting on this high here, but we also talked about that in terms of, I think we'll just go to, let's go to the 2-hour chart here, just get in the picture here first. So from wave 4 here, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then we're looking up for wave 3, and then wave 4 and wave 5, and we'll look at this in a little bit more detail. And this is really just trying to establish support on top of group 1 here. So group 1 is from the 800. We have from a minor level, then the sub levels are 1, 2 and 3 here. So we know that if we get support on top of 3 here, the order flow on the futures market at least will stop being pulled from down into the 800 here. The orders will start lifting up into this number 5 here. So that's where we're looking at in here. I'll just go to the hourly chart here. So yes, last time we spoke, we had 2 numbers sitting on top here. One of them was this number 1 here, and also this number 5 was sitting here as well, because it was possible to have this as 3, 4 and 5 sitting here. So we've had 5 and also 1 and 2 sitting here. So the market has moved up here further, and that's okay, and that would have triggered another long trade in here. We'll look at that on the tick chart. And but yeah, just in a nutshell, we're looking at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here and 5 here for wave 3 here, and then wave 4 here can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, or the 38.2% retracement level from in here. So wherever that high is here, you'll be able to work out where that's going to play out there on the tick chart here, just drilling in. So the levels here are group 1, 1, 2 and 3, then the midpoint here 50, and then the target to the upside. Look, it may stretch up to the 2.9 area here, but check where that old high is on intermediate wave 3, way over here. But group 2 would be where we're looking at in here as well, 65, 72 and 80 here. But it's more important to count the structure than that. But these level, from 800 to 900, group 1, the midpoint, and group 2 here are a nice matrix to work with, in that there is more to the levels than that in those, but it just gives us that skeleton, that shell to work with in the outside perimeter of the wave structure. So here where we were yesterday, here we had this as wave 5 here, or wave 1 here, but the main point was to go along above wave B high here, because the 61.8% was lower here, and taking that out there would create that. You should have gotten a better trade on this on top of number 2 here. So when this comes up here, we don't chase that, we wait for it to come back down. So that would be the first trade there. Then we can bring it down to this trade, or you can draw the angle down here. So you should have been, could have, would have, should have been in here on the long trade besides this one here, because it had migrated from resistance to support on number 2 here, and so on. So yeah, look, this is where we are. Now, with this count here, I've got wave 4 sitting way over here, and I think that's okay, because we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, 5 waves down. So I'm looking at, I haven't actually counted this one here, but because that's 5 waves here, that would leave us over here. But this one doesn't count very well as 5 waves down here. It counts more like corrective. So it may be possible that we have this, copy this here for wave 1 here and wave 2 here for this. I don't know just yet, but let's see how that pans out. Now, this this move here is all fine, but we don't want to see the market come. We don't want to see 28.30 become the retested resistance. There would only be a change in trend if the 2820 became the retested resistance, but the breakdown would be of this one here becoming the resistance here. That's the warning sign, and this is the confirmation being locked under here, because if it gets locked under 2820, then the market orders in the market depth from the futures market and even in the stocks will pull it back into this number here, which would give us overlapping wave structures, and it would be over that. But at this stage here, this trend here has not finished to the upside. It's not completed, whichever way you look at it. Even if I put this wave 3 over here and this wave 4 here and made one more new high, that would be realistic as well. But we'll play it out like this. So this wave structure in the S&P 500 is reasonably easy to follow, but the one on the NASDAQ is different. Now, what I mean by that is up in this top here, I've got a little bit of a problem, but we'll get to that. But at this stage here, we can see that that this market is the driver, and obviously the stocks within this are the drivers. The S&P 500 hasn't taken the top of wave 3 out here yet. It's still approaching it in this space over here, so we're way ahead of the curve over here. So this is partly why I've looked at it in terms of wave 1 to the upside here, looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4. And it's possible to have this as wave C here, then a D and an E here, and have wave 4 here, and then count this differently up through here. But this is kind of fits in with the Asian markets here as well. So I don't know if it's the right count, but it looks the best fit. Other people will have different counts or the same count. I don't know, I haven't checked, but the main point is just, for me, is just staying with the structure that we're trading with, and also using the trading levels within all of that as well. So the next important level up here would be the 500 here, so 7,500, that's close enough for this exercise. So in this little move up through here, we're counting this the same as the S&P 500, but you can see here that whichever way we look at it, we've got wave 1 and 2 in here, and wave 3 and 4 and 5 in here. And yes, it could push up higher through here, but it's quite close to being finished. And when it is finished, then we have to look for a correction. Now on the S&P 500, we're looking for a possible move down through here or to here. Whichever way it is, we just have to work the bearish count within all of this here. So I just really want to go into the top here. I'm not sure what chart's going to be best for this, but so from the S&P 500 and this one here, we've had pretty much the same count coming up through here. Okay, so I've had this labeled as wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and then I could label this here as either wave 5 being completed or wave 1 here and wave 2 coming in here. So wave 2 pulling back here. So to be honest, I don't know what this is yet. Okay, the best I could do in this case is actually just put wave 2 over here and have this as wave 1 here, and have wave 5 over here. So I just need to get some more information on this. So wave 1 here, an A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the C wave for wave 2 here, and then moving up from that point. But I don't know that, this is the problem with this particular pattern that's happened here. I don't recognize it. If I have a look, so I'm just really going to have to wait to see at this point. If this moves up from here, so this is that's the 61.8% retracement level. We can just borrow that for a moment and put that in there. So if the market moves above that here, all right, then basically if the top of that box here becomes the support, then you can trade long from that point, okay, which I think is the case. So I'm just going to save that, but I'm just unsure about this here. Now, when I look at, say, let's have a look at Amazon here. So with Amazon here, I was looking at this wave 4 here and working it up here. So we could call this wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then all of this is wave 3, and we knew that this was wave 4 here. So it pulled back nicely, just as we thought that it would here, to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. I'm just going to move that out of the way and get rid of that. I'm going to leave that, but I still think that this is wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then wave 1 ABC for wave 2. So I think there's 2 in there. So if that's the case, then I'm going to move that. That would be wave 3 here. We would need to look at wave 4 being in here now, and I'll just move that. And we still have further upside here to go for this as well. So that's going to bounce off that 1800 there and be something like that. So I still think that's got more to go here. Let me just double check that on the hourly chart. Yeah, this is how we had it on. This was the sort of the more defined sort of count. But yeah, I'm unsure about that, because that could be a B wave and a C wave here, and then moving up here. Let me just check some of the others for a second. Where are we? Twitter. Okay, well, Twitter, as you know, as I mentioned before, Twitter, this move down through here appears to be corrective. So we're going to go long on that one here, or you can if you want. Then we could also bring that down to this one here now, because that should be there. But this does appear to be a corrective move here. This looks like the 3rd wave. This looks like the 4th wave. So we're still looking for a move up in some of these. Obviously, that some markets just have to wait for things to be dragged along. Apple. This move from Apple, this 1 and 2 and 3. This is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So an A and a B and a C. So this is probably got, this is 100 ticks here. So this is probably, I can't draw on this side. It's still got more to come down here on this one, but the whole trend to the upside's not completed yet for that. So I'm just having a quick look. Sorry to soak up too much time, but that will do, I think. I'll leave it at that. But the main point here is that looking at these here on the NASDAQ, that stocks, I don't think that they're finished to go to the upside. But with the NASDAQ here as an index, I don't know. I don't particularly understand the structure. But if that's going to be the case from here, if this is 1 here and 2 here, then obviously 3 is going to be roughly up here somewhere, 4 and 5 here. It's going to be further up here, but I'm not sure about that. But I'd be very mindful of this market taking this low out through here. In fact, I'd even look to short it from that point, because it shouldn't be breached at that point there. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I just want to see another session on this one here. I just want to see, so I'll just leave it at that for the time being. All right, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.